First of all, thanks for this opportunity to participate in the Global Power Platform Bootcamp 2024 Saudi Arabia. And I'd just like to give a brief about myself. I'm Rajendra. I'm a BS specialist and reporting track lead in Microsoft, as well as which is my client, and working for the Bosch as an employee. And four times Microsoft certified trainer, where I can try to train the people as well as I will mentor the team on this Power BI and as well as the platforms like Power Platforms and the Power Apps as well. And totally 13 plus years of experience working with Microsoft tools. SSIS I started, and after that I moved on to the Power BI from last 7.5 years onwards. And I'm one of the organizers for Delhi Power BI User Group India, so where I can try to communicate on this GPPB 2024 Delhi as well. And coming to this today's topic, fabric in domains, like how these domains will be get created. So what are the types of domains? So which is still a preview feature and some of the limitations as well as that. So who are having an access to the administration part, this topic will be more useful to you. And what are the ways to configure a domain in the Microsoft Fabric? And what are the specific steps, like on the administration part? What are the types of rules that we have on the administration to keep the domains in a live environment? Along with that, how we are going to specify for the development, what are the ways to get it contributed for the domain specific related. And first of all, let's try to understand what is a domain. So it's a new concept which has been released a few months back from the Microsoft. So where in the part of data solace, like we can see the many workspaces on the Power BI side, where each and every workspace has been dedicated to some HR department or also marketing or also finance and so on. As the data is keep growing and to find out the right workspaces, it is impossible. So with the help of the concept name called domain, the things like we can try to group it all the workspaces in a logical kind of a unit, like a department wise. So we can try to create, which is an administration rule. The administration rule try to create the domains and specify this is the related data which will be available, like in sales data will be available means it will be get occupied in a sales related, or maybe if it is related to the development and as well as the engineering stuff, we can try to configure the engineering stuff with the development related workspaces. So we can configure for each and every workspace as in one single domain. So you can see the icon once whoever having a licenses with premium capacitor, premium per user capacitor, we can see something like a diamond symbol here, along with the next with a domain creation, which is in pipeline. So with the help of domain, we can try to figure it out the right source system instead of searching for the, particular files or also particular data sets or also semantic model. We can try to identify very easily by using this domain concept. Fine. What are the types of roles that has been incorporated in domain? If you're observing Power BI administration part, this is completely an administration field where it's not for the development. Whoever not having an access, we will not get an access as well. I mean, whoever trying to develop the reports and so on. So this domain is an administration role where they can try to edit the domain names, as well as maybe if you want to move particular workspaces to this particular domain specific components, we can do it. So these are the roles specifically Power BI administration, or we can call it as a Fabric admin, and domain administrator, where they can try to access the particular domain fields, and complete contributor part, which is related to the development. Sometimes the developer also need workspace access to authorized to connect to the proper data sets or also semantic model. In such a scenario, we can try to make use of domain contributors. Last but not the least, regular users, like maybe they're not very used on this domain related, but they want to see how the data has been stored and what type of an information has been available. In such a scenario, we can try to filter the domain from this one lake data hub, which is already in the Power BI services part. It has been incorporated. In the demos part, I can showcase to you where it is and how we can try to configure the domain administration. You can see the right capabilities, what type of an access and how we can try to configure this domain concept on the administration while doing the administration on the Power BI services. So who are going to administration as per the server license services part, we can try to have the domain license. We can configure Power BI administration who is having complete domain access, like they can able to edit the domain, or else if they don't want to see any of the domains, if it is archival, we can try to delete it also. Like a domain administration, what type of a roles that has been assigned, like they can try to edit the domain contributors, and they cannot do any creation of the new domains or else new deletion of it. So domain contributors are so somewhere where for the development part, regularly we can try to use it for adding or else removing workspaces from a domain. Regular users is the person we will not see. You can observe the last column, regular users. They will just have an access to only the filtering the data from the domain from one lake hub. If you're observing, as I said, this is a new concept on the data mesh related part, architectural part. And some of the images also we can try to configure as per the company's portfolio. Maybe if it is related to the finance or also marketing, we can try to configure the domain images as well. So on the one lake hub, so some of the images has been restricted. So some of the images which has been suggested images, we can try to enable it and we can configure. Like example, finance related. Maybe there is a particular portfolio related finance. We can try to incorporate those images on the domain configurations part. So you can see on the right hand side, I just added one of the existing inbuilt images. Customized images is not supported it, as I said. It's still some of the limitations as well as the preview features has been incorporated. Some images we can try to add it with permissions. If you're observing where we are going to create it, as I said, on the admin portal, admin portal administration level, admin center, we have a concept name called domains, which is a new still, but it is not a preview. It has been released into the general availability. You can see I have created some of the domains like a finance, HR, and a healthcare, education related, or else engineering stuff. We can try to configure each and every domain and try to move those particular workspaces into those domain. Like a finance means finance related sales or also revenue stuff. We can try to move that particularly, workspaces level, these domains level, so that it is easy for us to configure, as well as maybe that particular domain data I want to reuse or else re-access to some other. We can try to get it as per the access control. We can bring the information from the finance to the health, and we can load that information on the Power BI or else visualizations front end. You can see here, we have to provide a specific name of the domain on the administration level. Like example, maybe I want to configure with engineering development, engineering activity. I can try to configure it. It is a mandatory field. Domain description is something like, so what is the purpose of usage of it? So who are going to use it? Maybe what kind of an information on the tables part or as a semantic model that we are trying to build. We can try to give the description, but it is not a mandatory information. If you're observing, I just added two departments, which is the finance related. Finance related data is going to hold, and healthcare related. So which is easy for me to bring that particular analysis to filter the data of healthcare and try to utilize that particular data set for my further analysis too. Fine. This is an important. Sometimes we need a nested domains as well. Like domains inside, we can try to create subdomains too, sub hierarchy of an, like a departments too. Within a particular IT itself, we have subdomains. So we can try to create subdomain concepts as well. But here, whoever having an access at the domain level, the people can get access to the subdomains too. And Power BI domains, they can get the full access control, but domain specific rule, we can try to see the subdomain information as well as the domain level configuration information. So it's something like a hierarchical nested kind of a building, like some sub departments wise, we can try to create it. As I mentioned here, subdomains don't have their own administrators. So whoever having a domain level or as a parental domain level, they can try to access this subdomains as well. So we can create it. I can showcase to you how we are going to create the subdomains within the domain. So there is an option new called a new subdomain. So with the help of just a kind of a drag and drop only, we can assign the particular workspace, means we can assign this particular workspace, subdomain data to the new information too. See here, After creating the domains or else the subdomains part, what type of a ways we can try to assign the roles. So there are three approaches. Assign the domain to a workspace name, like one dedicated workspace, or assign the workspace as an admin control, like as I said, right, domain administrator as a Power BI role. Our last one is assigned by capacity. There are different types of a licenses, like a fabric related or as a trial license or as a premium per user. So we can try to configure assign per capacities as well. So within the organizational or else maybe specific set of groups, we can try to assign that subdomain concept to. So just to give an information, so what type of an assignments we can try to add it. So within the same organization, suppose if we want to get it easily access the data context or searching for the data estates within the subdomains, we can try to create and use it as a workspace name wise, we can allocate the access. And workspace administrator is something like a security group. I mean, like instead of providing the organization level access, we can try to give the particular area as a particular business structure and provide an access to the administration part. Workspace admins, we can call it. And last but not the least, as I said, assigned by a capacity, like a dedicated capacity for a particular department, like example, engineering department. I want to assign that particular access or also capacity controls to an engineering department part. We can assign all the accessing level and also we can provide the capacitors as well as the subdomain information, subdomain as well as domain automatically. Once we provide an access to the subdomain, domain access also will be get into the picture. See here, sometimes we have to move from one domain information to the another. So how we will try to move it? We have an option name called move as a set of resources. With the help of workspace level domain creation, we can try to move it from one domain to an subdomain and from one complete domain to an other domains too. So for this, we need an admin access. It's not for the contributor role or else not for the viewer. We have to need get an administrator role for that. So the tenant level or else administration level, if you want to move the complete information, like example, manufacturing information is there, manufacturer domain. Inside some of the tables which will be useful for some different department. In such a scenario, we can try to move the information from manufacturing domain to the another domain as well. We have an assign the capabilities. From there, we can try to move it from one domain to the subdomains as well. You can see it here. There is an option move to which domain you want to specifically. You want to move it through another domain. So we have an option. Direct options are there. All are optionality part. It is enabled. So maybe if you want to assign it to the new department or as a new domain, or else maybe you want to move it as a new separate domain, we can try to create it in the fabric level organization list. We can move it. The complete workspaces, we can try to move it from one to another, where the set of data sets, it will be get moved along with the semantic models like a data sets. Currently, we are calling it as a data sets. It will be get moved from one to another. Coming to the settings, there are multiple functionalities, domain settings. If you're observing like what type of a roles or else access you want to get it, or else what are the settings level subdomain access you want to bring it on, like who want the access for the subdomains information. These are all we can try to configure on this domain settings configuration. Or else maybe I want to delete a complete domain specific information. We have a direct delete functionality too. So which is going to delete inside if there is any subdomain along with your domain information, fabric level domain information. Both it will be get deleted. So no further information it will be get enabled on this domain part. See here, if you're observing what are the new capabilities that has been added on the domains level. So general settings, maybe if you want to rename it, already assign some name. If you want to give it as a new name for this, we can try to assign the new name for the domain configuration. And image level, as I said, some of the default images we can try to configure. Some custom visuals we have to add, some customized tool, and then we can incorporate it. But as of now, it's still a preview feature. And coming to the administration part, If you're observing, whoever want to see an admin level, all the domains which has been created, we can try to add the admin control, like complete administration, like a Power BI administration control, we can try to incorporate it. So they can see along with the additional or else available domain, just like an organization level, whatever the domains that has been created, they can see a complete domain information on the workspace level, which has been get created. Like that, we have a contributor, which has been specifically 3 types of rules, whether it's a complete organization, entire organization level access, or specific set of groups or else members. A tenant or else a domain level configuration, we can try to accommodate on the contributor part. So most of the time for the development level, we can try to assign this contributor level access, like a specific user or else a specific group. For not like an administration level complete access, we can try to provide maybe the development part as well. They need some access of that. In such a scenario, we can use domain level, domain settings, contributor level, specific user or else a security group controller. Like that, last one, if you're observing domain contributors, you can see this, and we can expand it. Like, so there is inside sub-level categories. We can try to incorporate like a tenant or as a domain admin control, and there we can try to specific the names or else external domain configurations or else other users, we can try to configure it here. Last one, domain default information. Here we will try to give the developer list as well as for the particular workspace developer list as well as the administration controllers too, where they want to see a complete access on this domain of the particular workspace, and they can try to view the complete information as well, the subdomain information. But the main important thing is, even though we are providing the access to this domain to the developers, they cannot able to delete because the control is there. We cannot able to delete the complete domain or else add new domain information. We're just going to provide it as a development capabilities on this particular or else a workspace level domain. Like that, last configuration on this domain settings part, delegated settings. So we can try to provide a complete or else a specific URL for that, like internal portals, and then we can try to configure it for the certification, like delegation of this, like promoted, or else like we can try to provide certified kind of a domains, which can be reused for the new operations or else a new business scenario. So let me showcase how it will work. So what are the ways to create a domain? I'll just try to showcase to you the demo part. If you're observing, to connect to the domains, first we need to get an access to this services. Either you can use app.powerbi.com or microsoft.fabric.com. You can use it any one of it. This is the front end view. As I said, we cannot see any domains on the left hand side. Regularly, this is the Power BI services level. So we need an access for this domain console. So as I'm administration for this portal, so I'm just navigating to the admin portal here. You can see it this one, domains. So basically, if you're observing these many workspaces I have, these many workspaces, instead of the data duplication or else the data solace, I just want to get rid of it to make it as a particular. These DAX 64 workspaces are related to manufacturer. So I want to define in that way. So this kind of an approach, instead of segregation and seeing that multiple workspaces on your workspace folder, we can try to configure it by using this domain. So how? If you're observing some of the domains I have created, manufacturer, data to backend, and Power BI dev environment, let me create a new domain. Let me assign some of the workspaces to this new domain. So as I said, we need to give it as a mandatory. Or else. Okay, so duplicated, let me remove it, not required. Just to create it, the email. So as I said, the icon is, this is the icon, circular. You can see it, the name has been assigned. This is an administrator for this domain. Currently, there is no subdomains has been allocated. So if you can try to open this domain, now we can try to assign the new or else available workspace anywhere. I mean, workspace folder. So basically workspace is nothing but a repository where we can store our data sets, reports, these many things. Like maybe if you are working on the fabric related, your warehouse builder, everything will be get stored on the workspace. So as I said, each and every workspace, it's need a one domain. So I just want to assign a workspace, assign it. So at what level you want to assign it? Assign by workspace name or else administration level or capacitor. Let's try to showcase you with a basic assign within workspace name. Let's try to configure it. So as I said, I want to assign with a batch, whatever it is getting started with the batch 64. Let me assign it, reassign it because it's already assigned to some other. These are the workspaces I'm trying to assign it for the batch workspace created. So if you're observing, these are all listed GBBBSA demo. So where I can easily find it out, those data sets which are available in batch 64. I mean, even the reports as well, whatever the information that has been available on this workspace, like a reports or as a warehouse, or as sometimes I have created the notebooks, which has been created as per the fabric. These all will be get stored on this domain, that is GPPBSA demo. Fine. I want to sub-create some more information as a subdomains, like a hierarchy. I want to create a subdomain information. How we are going to configure it? It's as simple as easy as I mentioned here, new subdomain. So first of all, let's see where we are going to configure it. Some of the operations we can have to configure batch 64. Like example, I want to move it. Where you want to move it? Like as I said, I want to create it as a subdomain. I want to move this specifically sit testing production workspaces to this subdomain within this batch 64. How we are going to configure? If you're observing new subdomain as a hierarchy, like I'll just try to mention dev sit and prod environments batch 64. Okay. Created. The subdomain has been created. I want to move these specifically sit testing production workspace to this subdomain. Either you can just directly select it and move all together, move it to this subdomain, or individually also we can try to move it to subdomain. So I'll just try to move it all together by using move to where. As I have created, just try to move it. So once on the one lake hub, we can try to see those subdomain information in this dev-sit prod batch 69. So where we are going to observe this domain concept. As I said, this concept, this particular domain information, we cannot see it here. We can go on the one lake data hub. So here we are going to configure, we can see it, that particular information. You can see that. So already some engineering team I have created, and here just now I have created GPPBSA demo. These are the subdomains which has been incorporated. So you can see that information. You can see it. These are the data sets which has been available in these particular workspaces. Sit production test. From here we can try to filter on the top of it. We can try to make use of these data sets as well. Okay, suppose if there is any promoted data set, like maybe I want to reuse it for some new activity. It has been listed like this. Endorsed renewal. Maybe if there is any promoted data sets, we can try to make use of it. Let me showcase to you how we can try to make use of it. I have one more domain, engineering stuff, like this. If you're observing engineering team, which is on workspace or Datadog again, these are the two warehouses I have promoted. I can make reuse of these warehouses for my another development activities too. So we can try to configure in this way. So it is easy for the searching part as per the data estate, as per the data mesh related activities. And we can try to reuse these data sets or as these warehouses for new operations or as a new report building. Let me create it few more and then I will showcase you. If you have any questions, these are all admin related. If you have any questions, please post it in the chat box. I'm happy to help. Stay here. I have moved just 3 workspaces, and the datasets I have just showcased to you. Some of the datasets has been listed in the testing, sit, and production. Fine. Here, there are different rules we can try to configure. Let me showcase to you the rules as well. Domain settings. Domain settings. Here, maybe if you want to rename it for different cars or as a different purpose, we can try to rename it. And the image part, as I said, some of the default images it is supporting, not all. So if you want to make sure that if you want to add some dedicated images, we need an access control for it. But as of now, I'm using the trial license. I don't have it. So only few of the, icons or else images, I can try to utilize it. And the roles part where we are going to specify. So as I said, in the domain settings level, administration have the full control of the workspaces as well as the domains. They can able to create new domains or else they can delete the existing domains too. And coming to the development, whoever have a developer access with the premium licenses or else a pro users, if you need a particular domain level access, here we are going to specifically provide it as a contributor where they can try to see or else add the new workspaces and also maybe just try to see the what are the data sets that has been available inside that particular workspaces. So here we are going to configure it like example, maybe I'll just try to add my colleague. So we can configure it. So Michael is going to have a contributor access. They can try to edit, but they cannot able to delete it. They just try to see the data sets inside of this particular GPPBSA demo domains level. Even the subdomain information also with this access, contributor access, they can able to see and utilize for their development level. And default domain is something like where a specific user list, like a group of users, we can try to configure. Like instead of individually adding the users, we can add it as a group of user list, which is the default domain level access. And this is the last configuration which we are currently observing, deleted settings. So as of now, I'm using the trial version of this license. So I'm not having this access, delegated settings, where we can try to configure the complete domain level, and also we can try to reuse it. Some new departments or also new configurations also we can try to align by using this delegated settings. Let me showcase you something. So here, previously, few months back, it is a preview. So as of now, it is a general available. So you can see it as a domain, which is the new concept. And if you want to view the whatever the access you have added, you can go it here, One Lake Hub. You can see it here. So it is not going to be available in the workspaces level. You can see it, the data sets and the, whatever the models that has been added inside this One Lake Data Hub. You can see it here. And as of now, just now I have created, this is the one. So I'm just trying to use it as a subdomain, dev settings one. And if you are trying to see the all domains, as I said, this is the icon. You can see the complete data sets as well as a hierarchical warehouse, which I have created for my report development. All the workspaces we can list it as. You can see it here, left hand side. Okay, this is the complete domains, all the domains. So here, instead of listing all the domains, we can try to configure based on the teams, based on the departments. As I said, engineering team, they can try to see and access engineering related data sets as well as their reports. And as I mentioned, GPBB, just now I have created this particular department, assume that this is a department, they can try to see the department level semantic model. If there is any reports, they can try to view it for new development or else a visualizations part. Okay. Up to this part, do you have any queries? Any queries? And as I said, this is the promotion, like enrolls it to your dataset for the promoted dataset or as a certified endorsement for the future usage. Any questions in the chat? Hope it is good. See here. Once it has been listed, it is easy to pick either it is a model, semantic model, or maybe if you want to pick the existing level domain, like particular workspace level, warehouse builder, or maybe if there is any lakehouse related activities, lakehouse, I want to reuse it for some new activity, we can try to give a permission control accordingly. So this information, as I said, here we can try to configure. So here we can try to share it, or else we can try to make usage of new creation or else a new development activities. Like example, this is one of the semantic dataset model. I can try to reuse it for the new development activity from this domain, and we can reuse it for the new creation of the reports as well as new domain creation too. So the same one, which we can try to reuse for the new activities. One second, let me showcase a few more things. So as I said, if you are observing the workspace level, we no need to incorporate or else we no need to see it on the each and every workspace. It's easy to navigate from the One Lake Hub to view whatever the workspaces that has been allocated. If it is available, you can, those are all workspace level activities will be listed on your domain configurations part. So marketing level, some of the domains I have added. So if you're observing, one second. Let me add a few domains which has been endorsed. In marketing, if you're observing, these are the workspace. Naveen batch 69 has been allocated. I can try to reuse it. So other domain level, owner access to owner level information to. So who is an owner for this particular workspace? I can try to reuse it, and which has been stored in the end marketing, and we can reuse it for the new development activities too. Okay. Any questions? Fine. And the main motto of creating these domains in Microsoft Fabric or else a Power BI services level, it's a decentralized source system where we are trying to work on different data sources in the cloud part, or else maybe if you are working on the on-premises. Instead of referring or else referring the data sets from the workspaces, it's a centralized ecosystem where we can try to get it access for each and every workspaces by creating the domain level control. So the domain level access we can try to provide in the contributor, so that the development part also will be get accessed and use those data source system effectively for the new developments or else reuse of existing data sources for the other activities. Fine. Any questions? Hope it will be helpful. Basically, this is an administration level activities. If you have any questions, I'm happy to help. Fine. Any questions? It's very simple. Still, it is a preview feature. Again, I'm saying still it is a preview. Some limitations are there. Once it has been created, domain administration only have to be get deleted, not for any other. So only the administrator have an access. So we need one or two people has to be get an access to the domain. Otherwise, it's a difficult to get it deleted, or else maybe we can try to move the domains inside the workspaces from one to another, like a movement from domain workspaces. As I showcased to you, one domain workspace to the another domain workspaces. Yeah, fine. I'm done. I hope you like it. Thank you.